Empowering You would like to welcome you to the Money Flow series. Today's topic is going to be all about your goal setting and really how to track your success. Empower You Consulting and Life Coaching, we offer a variety of programs to really support salon owners and service providers with the tools to really effectively run their business. We have our Salon and Spa VIP Consulting, our B School for Industry, our Instant Income for service providers, our Custom In-Salon Makeovers, our Rev Up for consulting for those solopreneurs, Fierce Front Desk Training, and of course, our Leadership and Life Coaching. So today we're going to be discussing the power in knowing your guest retention and really how to discover your personal effectiveness in ensuring your guest and returning to your salon and spa. So before we get started in today's webinar, I have a question for you. Do you know what your salon and spa's guest retention rate is going to be? Do you know what it needs to be? And do you know what it currently is? If you don't know, well, I have some pretty good news for you because less than 3% of salon and spa owners truly know their retention rate. I don't know about you, that's a pretty scary number. But why is it scary as owners? Because not knowing your retention rate can be detrimental to your business. I can promise you that. One of the most essential ways to becoming and more importantly remain successful is by retaining those salon and spa guests. So in other words, you don't just want your salon and spa guests to come just one time, you want them to be returning to you over and over and over. One of the most essential ways to become and more importantly remain successful is by retaining your guest. Okay, now I have one more question for you. Does your staff know their guest retention rate? But I'm kind of assuming this. If you don't know your number about your retention, more likely your team doesn't know their numbers either. So we have to kind of look at this diagram for a second. So whether you're the salon and spa owner, your manager, or service provider, before we jump in and discuss how to keep your guests coming back, we need to spend some time on discussing really why do they leave in the first place. All right, so are you ready? So this study shows there's 3 main reasons why your customers may leave your salon and spa. Number 1 is 68% of your salon and guests will leave because they were unhappy with the service that they received. So does that kind of make sense? Like 68% because they're unhappy. Number 2, 14% of our salon and spa guests will leave because they're unhappy with the product. Now this can mean a few things. It can mean that the products that you used during their service they didn't like, maybe the shampoo, conditioner. It can also refer to that they weren't really happy with the retail products they purchased for them to take home. Or it can really be the actual service that they received because the service is a product that you sell to them. And the last one is only 9% is they decide to go to your competitor, maybe somebody down the street or around the corner. So you can see the clients leave because they're not happy with that level of service that you really experience when they're in your salon and spa. The takeaway here, regardless of your position in your salon and spa, is that customer service is key to your guest retention. So a great way to really foster your loyal guest is by living inside that old saying, under promise and over deliver. Because remember, 68% of your salon guests leave because they're unhappy with the service that they received. So now let's look at this for a second, understand why guests are leaving. We understand truly that we need to look at how to retain those guests. And what's going to take that is going to be your outstanding customer service. So how exactly are you doing upon delivering that exceptional customer service for your guest? What are you going to be doing to wowing them? So there's going to be 6 areas within your service cycle to really wow those guests. So the first one is your first impressions. The second one is during your consultation. The third one is during your personal appearance, making sure you really dress for success, right? Number 4 is going to be making your product recommendations. Number 5 is really rebooking those clients. And number 6, of course, is going above and beyond. So let's take a few minutes, and I really want you to rate your effectiveness. Now, if you're a salon and spa owner, watch your webinar, and I want you to look at this as far as your entire team of service providers while you're rating yourself. So we're going to take a moment and we're going to use one of our Rockstar rating systems. So 3 means you're doing it all the time, 2 means you're doing it some of the time, and 1 means you're really never doing it. So the first one is going to be your first impressions. So when greeting your guest, do you really greet your guest within 60 seconds of that warm, friendly smile, maybe even a handshake, or even just walking around the front desk and saying hello to them? Some type of personal connection can make your client feel really warm and welcomed. Rate yourself. Now let's look at the killer consultation. Do you systematically perform the killer consultation with every guest? Are you speaking to your guest, or are you speaking at them? Do you make direct eye contact with your guests, or do you look through them through the mirror? Do you use active listening skills while you're with your guest? And do you recommend based off their needs to additional services or products? Rate yourself. Dressing for success. Every day, how do you look? Are you dressed up for work? And does that dress for success match your hair, nails, and makeup according to the clients that you wish to attract, that you want in your chair? Rate yourself. How about those product recommendations? Do you all the time educate your guests on what products they should use at home and how to really duplicate that look? Do they follow that Rockstar retail system? Your what, why, and how? So during the service, do you pick up each product? Do you educate your guest on them? And at the close, do you place those 3 to 5 products on the counter and say, these are the products I recommend for you today. Which ones would you like to take home? Rate yourself. Rebooking. Do you offer your guests at the end of every service to rebook for their next appointment? Are you educating them, letting them know that your books are filling up? And really to accommodate them, you suggest that they'd come back in and really make sure that their appointments are set before they leave. And if they have any challenges, of course, they can always reschedule their next appointment. So rate yourself. How about going above and beyond? Do you go out of your way to really exceed those guest expectations? Are you constantly looking for new ways to please them, to get them excited? Do you anticipate their needs and happily provide them what they need and what they desire for their hair and for their service and their experience while they're at your salon and spa? Rate yourself. All right, so how did you do? Where do you see that you can improve upon inside of your business? Perhaps your entire salon and spa needs to work on this, or maybe it's just an individual stylist that really just needs support and up-leveling their customer service that you provide for your guest. Empowering You has created this very powerful program called Tech Success. It's really designed to support service providers about how to communicate with their guest, how to wow them inside of customer service, and have them learn the skills it takes to be successful from behind the chair. For more information, visit empoweryouconsulting.com and check out this program. If not, you can also just give me a ring at 812-455-1367, and we can discuss what this program would look like for you and your team. Once again, it's important to remember this, that your guest retention is the key to a very successful business. Guest retention is in our control, and I can promise you that you guys are in the driver's seat of all of this. It's time to make a positive and permanent change. It's time to embrace your leadership potential. It's time to live and lead that empowered life. Thank you so much for taking your time and energy and participating in this training. If you'd like any more information, please contact us at 812-455-1367.